Hi, my name is Sally Bernard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery and awakening with the help of my spirit guides. It's time to trust your intuition. This is your inner knowings. Through questions and points of conversation, I can help others feel empowered. With the ability to touch people's past lives, I help others connect and not feel alone. Sit with me and call in live, 888-994-4995. Everybody, nice to be with you again. Please call in if you have any questions. But first of all, before I start my show, I would like to dedicate this show to Lynn Everett, who actually passed and transitioned last week. In his memory, who was writing my book. Please call in. He's with me. I feel that. And unfortunately, we're here right now, and I feel him sitting here as he used to on the chair right now. So please call in if you have any questions. And this is in memory for him. It's a memorial. Okay. Anybody has any questions for me, please open up the show. I'd like to answer some questions.
Okay, I guess, do you feel any spirit guides with me?
Who am I speaking with?
Oh, Lisa.
Hi. Yes, we all have spirit guides. So yes, I do feel. I just want you to be aware that they are around you. Do you have a question that you'd like to ask me that we can ask them?
Do they know where I'm going to end up in my life?
They actually do know your life, but because we have free will and we're not aware of that, we do what we want to do with ourselves. Like if you're planning on doing something, however, they are with you and watching you, and I feel that applies to everybody. Actually, we all have spirit guides. They're watching you and they're guiding you. So if you have a specific question for them, please voice it if you want to, and then we'll see and we'll go from there.
I can't think of one off the top of my head. I may need to ponder that one.
That's okay.
To get specific.
But please just know they are with you. Each and every one of us, we have spirit guides. So during the course of the show, if you think of something,
Okay.
we'll continue, okay? Thank you. Okay, we're opening up to the studio audience here.
Hi, Sally.
Hi.
How's everything?
Everything is going good.
I wanted to know what does Ishmael have to say for me for the week?
He's going, you're right where you're meant to be, okay? I feel that very strongly. We got that name, and I validated that for you, and I love it when you're on the show. He's saying, I love it. Actually, that's him saying that. I love it when you're on the show. He's going to tell me, he's telling me that you are definitely in the right place. So whatever messages you feel, and you are able to feel him, and I know that you are in the right place and you're doing exactly what you're meant to be doing. Okay. Does that help you with your question a little bit?
Yes. And I had recently gotten myself a new car, and it feels like the car was meant to be mine because it was like, it's a 2017 car. I graduated in the year 2017, and it has I know like for the license plate, it gets renewed every year on your birthday, but it has my birth date on the license plate.
There you go. That's your validation,
Yeah.
right? That's what I follow very much in my life today. I see and I feel something and I get the validation. So you're getting it too because you're very aware of it, which I'm very happy about. And he's also very happy about it, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. I like that.
I want to go back to your tribute to Lynn. He sat here, you're going to make me cry, because you're right, he sat here with you for many, many shows. What were some of the messages that he shared? What do you think was important to him to share?
It's also, as much as I believe this is bringing me to tears, Dawn, he was a great person, and I feel it very strongly. I feel that he's with me. He understood everything that I was saying. So my tribute today is definitely for him and his memory. He also felt very connected to my guide, Aldo. when we used to go in the other room here and talk every single Friday for a year, 2 or 3 hours. I was very close to him. He told me that he used to feel Aldo is in the room. So now I'm feeling that Aldo and Lynn are together. There's no way I can deny that. And he's very much, he used to, and the strange thing is, we have an empty chair right now. I'm waiting for my friend to come here, but I believe she thinks the show was at 3 o'clock. This is not coincidental. I feel that Lynn is sitting here. How many times did he show himself on my show? He was a great person, a great spirit, and I feel like I want to cry, but I know he's with us, okay? And I know you feel the same.
Do you feel like he has a message to share? What do you think
He's telling
that is?
me Aldo's with him.
Oh.
And I'm going to cry, okay? Because we used to talk and he used to say to me, Aldo's giving me the messages. There's no way that Aldo, who, if anybody knows that I've been talking about my spirit guide that passed 2 years ago, he's with him and he's helping him. I can't prove that, but with all my being, I feel that Aldo's guiding him right now.
I think, yeah.
Well, I wanted to add a little to that. When you guys were doing your meetings, you and Lynn, was he able to talk to Aldo himself?
Absolutely, absolutely. We would start in that show, not in the show, in the room to talk about my book, which, by the way, I just want to say I will carry on because this was, hi Mindy, it's okay.
I think she said to see if you there,
Here, Mindy, if you want to come on my show, I'm sitting here. If you want, you don't have to. Okay, but just to talk about Lynn a little bit, he used to tell me that he felt him very strongly in the room. I feel them both in the room today, okay, both of them. And Aldo, my belief is that Aldo is on a higher dimension and he's able to actually help him with his transition. I feel this very strongly. I don't often come to tears when I talk about someone, but I feel that very strongly. And Aldo is helping him transition. I can't prove that, but that's what I feel. Mindy, I don't know if you want to be on my show, but here we are. Okay.
Yeah. Sally, I'll keep talking to you while they set up her microphone. Is there anything we can learn from it being the hottest month at all, or the hottest summer? I mean, what is that is Earth trying to tell us something, or?
Thank you for that question. I think it's very, very important that we take note of this. Yes, Earth is an entity. Gaia, as we call Earth, is an entity. And boy, is it trying to tell us something.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We cannot ignore this. We cannot. We do so many things that are not acceptable on this earth. We need to do many, many more things to save this planet. My program is always about positivity, and you know that, and any of my viewers know that. But I also have to wake up people to understand that what we're doing is we're heating the earth up. I mean, people might say global warming, okay, it was that way 100 years ago. Yes, it was, but we've gone past that point right now. I was not aware of your question, but I feel very, very strongly about this, so I'm very happy that you brought that up, Josh.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sally.
I want to welcome my friend Mindy. I also want to say, and many people have asked me where I have my hair done. This is my hairdresser, okay? Okay, so I'm happy that you're here with me on this show, Mindy. Okay, all right, we're going to open up to any of our viewers that want to call in, 888-994-4995. Any questions? Here I am.
Sally. As I was getting dressed today, I was thinking of something, and I said, I'm going to ask you today about timeline jumping.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. I'm wondering how long it takes from the time you jump for circumstances to change or to show itself.
I believe, from what I am right now, as you know, I'm in a trance immediately. Absolutely immediately. So if we think something and we see something and it's a little different, as I have mentioned many times on the show. It could be a tree in a different place. It could be a building that's down the road that's not there but further down the road. It happens immediately. If we're aware of it, we will see it, Mindy. Fortunately, a lot of people aren't aware of it. I just, through my program, I'd like to tell you that it does exist, and we switch timelines, as you and I both know.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And is it as easy as choosing to do it?
Just say, I want to switch a timeline. We will. Only most, I would say 90% of the population don't realize that. But if my message helps people understand that, we can change our situation and circumstances immediately, and that's very important. Thank you for that question.
You're welcome. I think that it's a subject that's rarely brought up and can be so helpful to so many.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're just not aware of it. And if I can just on my show make people more aware that we do switch timelines. It's not like we're stuck in a timeline. Anybody that might follow this believes that, okay, we switch timelines, but we can switch it pretty quickly. They think maybe we're stuck in a timeline for maybe 10 years. No, as far as I know, and again, I often say I can't prove this, but I know that we can switch timelines. So if something may be going a way that we have not in our mind, or what we have actually thought of, well, that's another show, before we actually come in, that we've decided to do something, we can change it and put it back to putting us on track, so to speak. So if we've decided to do something and it's not going the way that we think, change your timeline. It might be so on the next timeline.
But you said 10 years, not a lifetime? On one timeline, so to speak?
No, I believe we all have this opportunity to switch timelines. This is what I
No, but
feel.
you said we could be on a timeline 10 years and switch it.
Yes,
We have different timelines throughout our life?
yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
interesting.
Many.
Oh,
So if we're going through, I used to say, actually, even if we're in a depression and we feel we're not going the way that we want it, say to yourself, switch. We want a different timeline. What
oh,
can happen? The worst thing can happen. It may not happen.
that's
But
right.
the good thing is, maybe it will. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up. I
Love that.
appreciate that.
Hey Sally.
Hi.
Before I was conceived, my mother had a miscarriage. I wanted to know if you could connect with that child.
It's you.
I know
I
it,
feel
right?
that right away.
Exactly.
Okay, and
Ooh, I
you know
got the
we have a
chills.
connection here with your
Yeah.
spirit guide. Absolutely. I'm getting, as Lynn used to say on my show, the famous goosebumps. Look.
I
Yeah.
got it too.
Okay.
Right
so
up my
there we
back.
go. It's you. Okay. So I hope that helps you realize that,
Mhm.
you know, makes you feel good.
Yes.
The reason, actually, I just want to elaborate a little bit on that. It wasn't your time when your mother had that miscarriage. I don't know how much time in between until you were born, but what you did was correct, okay? You were just not ready at that time, but you were when you actually appeared.
That's exactly how I
Does
feel.
that make sense? Do you feel
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Great, okay. We have a connection, and you know that because your spirit guide is with us.
Thank you, Sally.
We have a question from Freddie. He wants to know, what can we do for Lynn in the studio? He was a big fan of the studio. How can we commemorate him?
This show is for him. It's dedicated to Lynn. As I had said in the beginning, I feel his presence very strongly here. Does it bring me to tears? Absolutely. I am human, and I'm very sorry that this happened. But however, he would want us to go on. He would want us to be happy. He would want his memory to keep alive, which I'm going to do by continuing where he left off with my book. We had finished the last chapter. My last words were to Lynn, we have finished the book. That means so much to me. We had finished the last chapter. I will continue, Dawn. I will continue, as I feel he's with me right now. We will put this book out. He's with us.
Yeah.
It's sad for anybody in the studio, of course. He was here many times on my show, but he doesn't want us to be unhappy. He wants us to continue the work that he started,
Absolutely.
and we will.
So is Elizabeth here with us also?
Absolutely. You know, she's always with me. She never leaves you, Dawn.
So what did she
never-
say today?
She's actually She's wanting you to, okay, and this is to do with your daughter too. Your daughter is in the right place at the right time, what she's doing, but she wants you to follow what your daughter's doing, and through what her message is, that she's getting messages as far as her art goes. It's very important that, and I know she's just moved to Washington, but there is a connection with Elizabeth there, and you need to tell her that. She may or may not understand, but I was able to talk to her a few weeks ago, so she knows where I'm coming from. Tell her that Elizabeth is also her guide, and she's watching over her, especially with the art from the Renaissance period. So I need you to let her know that.
Okay.
It's coming through very strong. Okay.
Absolutely. I
She's
will
on
let
the
her know.
right track.
All right. We've got a big event on Thursday night. How's that event going to be?
It's going to be really good. We need to let as many people as we know that maybe show up there, but even if they don't, we're still going to do well, because you have many artists at that particular place where we're going. What can you just maybe mention it on the air?
Yes, we're going to be at Sunscape Boca Raton, where your art is actually going to be spotlighted, and a dozen other artists. It's a new memory care assisted living facility in Boca, right off of Boca Rio. And it's in conjunction with Boca Festival Days, and all proceeds of the ticket sales go back to benefit Walk to End Alzheimer's.
Thank you
Thursday
very
night from 5:30 until 8. And it is open. You can buy tickets at the door, or you can buy tickets online at tinyurl.com/expressions of life. Maybe Mindy will come too.
I
Yes,
will.
I'm sure she will. She's a great friend of mine. And every time that I have Mindy on my show, I always talk about how we met, because it's very important. So forgive me if you've heard this story, but I have to relay this story. Mindy is my hairdresser, so I know many people have asked me where my hair is, how they like my hair. So this is my hairdresser. But I had another hairdresser. I'm driving around one day and someone says to me, go somewhere else. I had no idea what was happening, but I always, as I say, I follow my intuition. And suddenly I'm driving to where you were. I had never met you. I go to a salon that I had never ever been in. And suddenly I come and I'm sitting in your station, and you said to me, you are an artist. And I said, yes, we had never met. So this is amazing. And I'm looking at you, and you proceed to tell me everything that had happened to me as far as my astral projection, that you had a book out on, how you had passed and come back. Well, your story is a little maybe differently, but we related right away. How does this happen? I'm suddenly going to a new hairdresser. I didn't even think about it. Basically, my car took me to your place, and I'm sitting in your station. I have to relay that. It's amazing. And we've become best friends for a couple of years now.
And there is another side to my side that's amazing, because this was a place that was very unfair to me and never gave me anyone. And when they said, we have a client for you, I was like, you do? And I picked up right away that something was different, because of the way you said something that triggered me. And I said, this woman is an artist. I don't even know why. You were in the chair a minute, and somehow I knew, or you said about the spirituality. It just came very strong immediately. And there were some people there that rented space in a spiritual center at that time. So I told her, there's more like us in here. And the next thing you know, a couple of weeks, months later, she's renting a table and bringing in, I don't know, 80 paintings. I'm like, what is happening here? Like lined up and on the table, and this little thing. I'm like, what? Endless amounts of paintings, and we've kind of been together ever since. But what a blessing. And the biggest part is, yes, to follow your intuition and your promptings. I try not to miss it either, but some of them are very subtle. But when I follow it and I can see the outcome and the whole road, it's very rewarding, and you feel nurtured, taken care of by your guides. And that is a wonderful feeling.
Absolutely, Mindy. I'm so glad that you expressed that. I mean, to me, that was so validating. I always talk about my validation, but here are you to say that we both have that validation. And the words that really stick in my mind, which you had just mentioned, there are a few of us in here in a hairdressing shop that I had never entered. I had no idea where I was, and I'm sitting on your chair. So in your station, how is that possible? I'm the first one to say, oh my gosh, how does that happen? And people say, but you believe in that. But I never want to lose that moment.
Oh
which
no,
was
we
very
want more of those.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing.
It's a great
that.
feeling.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to open this up to either Mindy or I.
Oh, okay. How can someone become more spiritually connected with their guides, or just anyone really?
Well, my immediate answer to that is, I always say anything is possible. And with that, I believe, obviously, with all my being, that we have spirit guides. Talk to them. They will go with your first thought. Someone asked me this a few hours ago, actually. My answer is, if you start putting your mind into it, it's not going to work. But if you say, help me, or am I on the right track, or whatever it be, just go with your first thought. That was my own way of understanding this. And I've been validated many, many times with that. I mean, again, I often say I can't prove anything. I can go by example to give people what I've had as my validation. And I go with my intuition, which is usually my first thought.
Can I answer one little
Please
thing?
do so.
Yeah.
I don't want it to sound cliche or redundant, but I must say the word meditate to myself and to you. It just opens the atmosphere. And the more you're in touch, however you do that, will permeate your atmosphere and allow the veil to thin, for the information to come in more, and for you to see all those miracles around you easier. So however you get closer, meditation or books or YouTube videos, on spirituality, will help thin the veil from the other side to here.
Okay.
Because they're there. It's us, that blocks it or doesn't catch on. So that's my advice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mindy. Anybody else? I'm opening it up to the studio.
Hi, Sally. I wanted
Hi.
to know, is it that I'm in my own head? When I get something done for myself, I can feel negativity from my loved ones. Is that something I'm feeling because I'm putting something in my own head, or because that's what I feel?
I want to say right away, because I don't know what you're obviously referring to, but it's in your own head, okay? Because what they're going to give us.
Hello?
Okay,
You got a caller.
I have an
and then-
echo.
and then-
Okay, I have a caller, so I'll answer that in a few minutes. Okay,
Turn
thank
their
you.
computer down. Tell them they're too loud.
Thank you. We have a caller right now, and I will continue with that answer. Okay, hi. Can I help you? Who is the caller?
They have to turn down the.
They have to turn down
They have
Hi,
to.
Sally.
Hi, I'm sorry
Sally?
about that. Hi, I can hear you, yes. Have you turned down, I don't know
Is
what
Sally
you meant to
there?
do. Hi,
Hey, Sally, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You
What
have
is
to turn
your
your
question?
computer down. You have
Can
to
you
turn your
hear
computer-
me?
Sally can hear you.
absolutely
Can you
can.
turn the
Please-
volume down on your computer, please?
Thank you.
There's so much commotion, I can't hear you. Yeah, I tried.
What is your question? I think we may have to go back.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. Please give me your question.
Oh, God.
What is your question?
Okay,
And
can
who
you
am
hear
I
me now?
speaking with?
Okay, this is Sandy.
Hi, Sandy. Oh, hi, Sandy. Okay. Yeah, first of all, I hope you're feeling better.
Brandon.
Thank you. Okay, give me your question.
Hi, I said I wanted to call.
Yes, you did.
Thank
I'm sorry
you.
that
I
you're
am
not
feeling
in the
better.
studio.
Today is like the second day I started to feel better.
Good.
I didn't want to go. I was going to call you.
What is your question, Sandy?
There's like an echo. I can't hear you. I don't know what's going on.
Well, maybe we'll get back to you.
You're not connected
Hopefully,
to
I'll
me.
see you next week.
Okay. The question, okay, I don't know. The question,
If you can hear me, Sandy, write your question in. I don't
all
know.
right.
On Facebook.
I'll call you back maybe.
Thank you. Okay. She is often in the studio. Just to say I do know who Sandy is. Her beautiful dog, Bella.
Tell her again to comment on Facebook.
Please comment on Facebook, Sandy, and I'll see you next week in the studio, if you can hear me. Thank you. Okay, I open it up to the studio or the audience. Let me give you the number one more time. 888-994-4995, Studio A. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, so Abraham's question, back to his question. Back to Abraham's question about your family members and their energy.
Yeah, is it am I in my own head or is it negativity that I'm feeling?
It's in your own head. Okay? Please believe that. They're not going to give us negativity. They're only going to give positive messages. But it's up to you to turn that around. Please get out of your head and begin to listen to what you hear, because you know that you're more than capable to do this. We had that validation, and you know that. I gave you your spirit guide's name. This is not even someone that was here, okay? Remember, always remember that. He's so happy that we did that, okay? The negativity is in your head. I'm not criticizing you. We're all been there, okay? But start to listen to him, because it's going to be positive, okay?
Okay, thank you.
I have to think of a good one.
Can you speak up a little?
Yeah, I'll bounce off of what Abraham said. Does anyone who's related, like in the same family, do we all have the same spirit guide, or is it different people that look over us?
Different people, because we're all individuals, and we have, just like we come in with a soul family, we may have some connection to someone else, but we have our own spirit guides. They are different. They know where we're going in our lifetime. They don't interfere because we have free will, but they will try to put you on the track, okay, on the right track. And they will not give us negativity. I do need to stress that, as you know, too.
I agree.
Very important. Do we always follow it? Absolutely no. And I will tell you that I also haven't always followed it, as you know, Mindy. But just know they're here to help us and guide us. They're here to, as you say, they're guides. They're here to guide us through. They won't interfere when we're doing something wrong, but they'll try to put you on track. But ultimately, we have the last word, okay?
So if I were making a decision and I'm going back and forth with myself, is that my own conscience not being able to make a decision, or is it a spirit guide or something trying to...
Love that question. It's you. As
Okay.
far as I know, it's definitely you. Because once we put our mind into something, our mind is trying to show us different things. As I had said once before, not that I think on this show just now, we put our mind into it, our mind will mess us up. Go with our first intuition, as you know, Mindy, and I love that you're sitting here, that you can relate to what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
We need to not question that. If I get a name, and I have done this, and I can, you know, our viewers know that I have done this, and especially you, I got your spirit guide, Abraham. Just go with our intuition. Say whatever you feel. Don't put your mind there, because it gets in the way. Okay? That's my message. It's very important to understand that. Do I always follow that? No, I don't. But I know better. I know that I need to go with my first intuition.
Can I say one
Please.
thing? There's also, which I've mentioned before, different language from the other side, a different way that they communicate with us than we do. And their signs and symbols, and also their energy is a little different, a little lighter, not as dense as ours on the earth, you know? And sometimes it's harder to hear because of that, but that's practice. You can learn that language. So if you're not getting a straight answer, or let me say for me, if I ask something and I feel I'm not getting a clear answer, I will look for multiple signs and symbols. But I have learned over the years how they speak, and I can relate. Oh, they're answering that. So I may get a second and third on the same subject, but this takes time, practice, and even knowing about it, you know? So it's hard in the beginning, you know, to hear clearly. But if you ask, please give me another sign, or just in your own mind say, you know what, I'm going to look for another thing that says that before I go that way. You'll get it.
Okay.
Here's another question that someone wrote in. When two people live together, do their spirits bond? And if they do, then why do they sometimes get divorced?
Okay. As much as I feel, yes, they do bond because the energy is there. Let's say they're at home together, their two energies are entwining. But you know what? Because we have free will, we don't always pick the right partner. And they can see that too. So the bonding is there, but I'm not saying it's a negative. It can be that they're telling us to go a different way. I mean, this can happen. I mean, we see many divorces. We see many people together. They bring us together, but they also, it's up to us. But I feel that they're watching us. And what is, basically I'm hearing what is best for us on our journeys. So if someone is not, they're not connecting, the spirit guides are there, but they may also show us why we're not connecting. That was a good question. I never really looked at it that way.
Very good.
That's very important. Maybe that's still with us, but not in this particular lifetime. Maybe we're meant to get together in the next lifetime. This is the first time that I've actually come out with this, but I see that very clearly today, right? And you can relate to that too, Mindy, as we both can, and you too, Dawn. I'm not you're in a happy marriage, but it's not necessarily marriage. It's friends. They will see more than what we can see. So they might try to tell us that maybe go that way instead of that way, if that makes sense. And that's my guide that's telling me that always says, does that make sense?
Okay, you want to take
Not-
a commercial break?
Yes.
Tell
Thank you.
we're going to take a commercial break.
Thank you. We're about to take a commercial break. Please don't go away. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you. This world, this life, this illusion. What is going on, we ask? What is happening? Why not take time and see what is happening? This world as we know it, it seems so real and yet so far away from where we've come. Corruption, greed, anger, power, revenge. Please wake up. We can change what is around us. How, we may ask. Learn to go back to where we were. Then we will have the clues. Then we can change and go forward. Please take the time. Do not fall into the game which we have put upon ourselves. We can change. We can make a difference. We have the power, each and every one of us. Go in peace. Go with love. Go as one. Zena.
A true story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Bernard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came to the U.S. in 1979. A mother of two and grandmother of four, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the third dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest in art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she's able to astral project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life's direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today.
You have been watching Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Bernard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you could always seek me out for resources. Visit artbysallybernard.com today. Now, back to the show. Hi. I don't know if I introduced you because you came in as the program.
Yes, you
This is
did.
Mindy, my good friend. Okay.
Yes, you did.
My hairdresser, who is local here in the area.
Yes, in Boca.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any questions, or from Mindy or Dawn or Josh or whoever else is here?
You know, I used to do automatic writing many years ago. And I asked who's talking to me. And I got 2 names. And I wonder if they are my guides or if you get any names. I never asked the person, but because you were asked earlier, for the name of my guides, because, you know, it's energy.
Absolutely.
And do they need a name? But I'm just curious if you pick up anything.
They don't necessarily need a name. I feel one of your guides, I'm getting the name Esther.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew an Esther. You don't necessarily have known her in this life. I feel that she is an apprentice to your guide, if that makes sense. Well, it may not make sense, but I feel that
Does make
as
sense.
I had 2, I had a guide and I didn't understand that, but it's like a guide in training. She was here on earth, not necessarily in this lifetime, who was with you, Mindy. Her name is Esther. She's had a very similar life to you as my guide too, and I didn't even understand that at the time. So Esther is with you. She's working with someone else. I'm not getting his name, but she's like in apprenticeship, but she's telling you all the right things.
I do understand that. And do guides have assignments at different times? Maybe we have a different guide for a certain assignment.
Yes.
You think so?
We have several guides, but the one that's with you right now and very strongly is with your life right now, with what you're doing. I feel that, and as you know, that we kind of talk about our life before we come into this life.
Mm-hmm.
And she was there, and she had mentioned to you, I will be with you when you go through a difficult period in your life. Talk to Esther. She's there. She's not your main guide, but she's the one that's relating to you right now. Okay?
Very interesting. And I think that they are always with us and close and want to help,
Absolutely.
but we have to ask.
And she's had a very similar life to you that you have now in this particular lifetime. I actually was validated with that through my guide that I didn't know, but Alda was with me at the time and explained to me that she was also with what we would call apprenticeship.
Yeah.
But that's, you have the same as that I have. I actually don't know the name of the lady that was with me, but she's with me, okay, as yours is with you too.
Very interesting. I don't think we give them enough credit.
We do not.
We don't.
And it's not that they necessarily want the credit because
No.
they're here to help us through our life, but it's like if someone does something nice for you, you want to say thank you, just say thank you. And they, in their own
And
way,
acknowledgement also,
absolutely,
yeah.
yes, absolutely. So I feel that we need to thank our guides. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I know Abraham and I both wanted to talk about auras real quick,
Okay.
but if I wanted to do a quick question, if you don't mind, because right now we're walking, humans and animals are walking side by side. Do you think in the near future that we'll be walking with spirit guides around us just in everyday life?
We actually, we are, we just don't know it, Josh. Whether they're going to materialize themselves here on Earth, it's up to them. I was lucky enough to have my guide, as you know, when we talk about Aldo, who did come in and was here specifically to help me in this particular life, who passed a couple of years ago. It doesn't necessarily, they don't have to be with us. Just be aware that they are around us, okay? They don't have to physically show themselves. I was lucky that my guide did, and I have other guides. We don't just have one. We can have 3 or 4 different guides.
Okay.
Talk to them. Talk to them. We don't necessarily have to see them.
And then, Mindy, because we were talking about it on commercial break, but I wanted to get it out there for everyone else to hear as well too. One, if you can tell me what my aura is, but also tell us why, what symbolizes the aura, and what can we learn from it as well too.
Well, it's not particularly my specialty that I know that much about. I'm only intuitive to it, you know, what I'm picking up. And I do see now a yellow around you. And like I said to you during the break, our energy can affect our aura. So it's a glow around us of energy, right? And it can change, and it can have, it could change on your passions, your fear, your goals in life. You know, you want to be rich tomorrow, and it's so strong, and all around you is the green aura, or even silver or gold can represent money, and you know, this just comes to me. But don't get too hung up, because everyone has it, everyone is energy. It is a language of spirit. Colors are a language of spirit. And another way you can know when they're around, they will manifest in different ways. They don't have to materialize in a form. I see a lot of hearts all the time. That's probably my spirit guides manifesting in a heart. You know, so I think it's so valuable to learn the languages.
Okay. And then I know you just said you saw a yellow around me. Would, say, Sally see a yellow as well too, or can she see a different color?
I actually, if you can say, that's not my forte to see auras. I really don't see many. I have many other things that I can see. So I don't want to say that I see a certain color, although someone did call me in, and Steve, my husband, keeps saying, how did you see that? So maybe I'm just not aware of it that much. I probably do see it, but I can't tell you that I know that I can see it all the time. So in answer to your question, I don't, but that's why Mindy's on my show. Okay, she can see them.
Color has
That's
meaning.
not the only reason, but
I would look up the meaning of yellow.
Oh, okay.
Everything has meaning, but color has meaning deeper than we know, and that maybe we need a lifetime to learn. It's on purpose, and it will mean something to you.
Thank you.
and I love to, just to say that I really do love to bring in the audience and people and have my guests, because it's very important to me too. I have a message. I don't expect everyone to believe it, but it's here. You're validating a lot for me, Mindy, and even Dawn, who is being very quiet over there, but it's just, and you, obviously everybody in the studio here is here to listen to me. It gives me a lot of hope that we're spreading this message. Do you have to understand every single thing I'm saying or what you say or what?
Won't be
No,
able to.
It doesn't matter. The fact that we're opening up, and my message is please open up. The studio audience, anybody that's listening, no question is, it doesn't matter what you ask. Maybe I can't. As far as auras go, I cannot necessarily, tell you this, because I know that perhaps it's me blocking it, but I don't necessarily see auras, but I see a lot of other things.
I see
Miss
yours.
Mindy, okay, she can see mine. And
Oh.
I have to ask you, what is my aura right now? Because I'm totally in a trance, which I don't normally say, but I'm aware that I'm saying that.
I see big see-through white puff around you with sparkles,
Thank you.
almost magical.
Thank you. Thank you. But I'm getting a lot of help from the other
It's
side.
energy.
Yes,
That's what the
absolutely.
aura
And
is.
we
It's
are
energy.
You
Dawn.
went away to Michigan last week.
Yes.
And you said you had a lot of signs.
Mainly my daughter, because it was my niece that I was visiting, and her parents, who are now in their late 90s, and it was just unbelievable. I lost a lot of the pictures of my daughter, as I don't know if I'd mentioned that, but they disappeared, let's say that. They just didn't, I didn't have them when I came to this country. But they showed me, and I felt so much. My daughter, for people that don't know, my daughter passed about a year ago now. And I have such beautiful memories now that I didn't have. And they so wanted to share them with me. I had a wonderful time. They made us so welcome. I went with Steve, my husband, and it was just unbelievable, my trip there. And it took me back to my days 20, 30 years ago when I used to visit them when I was in London. And they just shared so many memories that I felt very much that my daughter was with me, so much so. Her name was Louise Caroline, and her song was Sweet Caroline. And I get in the car with Steve to go somewhere, and the first thing that came on was Sweet Caroline. That could have
I
been
got the
coincidence.
chills.
However, when we got back to here, to Florida, It was late at night, it was 2 in the morning, the plane had been delayed, and he turns on the radio, and the first thing we hear is Sweet Caroline. I'd been looking at her pictures for many, many days over the few days that we were there. So do I know that she was with me? Absolutely. Her name was Louise Caroline, and her song was Sweet Caroline. Thank you for bringing that up.
So it's just about seeing the messages and listening to the message they send. But if we don't understand what the message, we know there's a song. Is it just validation of there she is? Or do you think there might be more to it?
It was validation, and there's much more to it, because I was thinking of the pictures that I did not have from when she was a child, although my niece had them all because they were cousins. And I'm looking at them, and I was just talking about them to Steve, and suddenly we turn the radio on. The first song I hear is her Sweet Caroline, that was her name. I mean, this happened twice. Yes, it could be coincidence, but to me, how could that be coincidence? She was watching me, looking at her pictures from a very early age, because I lost a lot of those when I emigrated from here to America. But here they all were, and I have many now in an album. So that touched my heart.
You're funny because you don't even know where you are right now. We're in America.
No, she doesn't.
Did I say something different?
Yes.
Because I'm in a trance.
We're
What
in
did I
America. When you immigrated from here to America.
Yes, okay, so that proves, to people that don't understand this, I am totally in a trance from London to America, okay? I am, and you had actually mentioned that to me too. I don't often bring up that I'm in a trance because I don't do all the things that sometimes people say, but I'm totally not here. I'm with them up there. Okay?
And you'll do private readings for people. They can email you at callmezena1111@gmail.com.
Thank you.
But what type of readings do you think people are looking for right now?
Maybe where they're going in this lifetime, but it's not all about that. It's about where we're all going in this lifetime, how to protect the world. I mean, people don't usually ask me this in a private reading, but I want to say that we have to be very careful right now, and this is to everybody that may be listening. The earth is going through a transition. That's the word I want to say. It's very important that we wake up to what's happening. We're getting signs through the weather, through what's happening, the hottest earth that has been for many years. From what I understand, we're just a very small planet in a very big universe. Please, and I'm glad you brought this up. It may mean completely exactly what you're asking me, but I do need to tell you that we need to be very careful what we're doing. My program is always about positivity, but negativity is there. Watch what we're doing. Take care of what we have here. It's so important. Having said that, and my program is always positive, there are other Earths waiting for us, from what I understand, but I feel very strongly right now, let's protect what we've got. We've come a long way. Please protect Mother Earth today. She needs protection. Maybe not the question that you were necessarily asking me, but because I am where I am, and I don't often admit that I'm in a trance, but they're telling me very strongly, please take care of Earth. Please take care.
Because the record heat that we're having right now is terrible.
We're beginning to wake up to the fact that this is what's happening. I mean, they're saying this is the hottest the Earth has ever come. It's never been this hot. We don't have records maybe from thousands of years ago, and I'm not about to go into maybe what happened, but we are going through a very, very important time right now on Earth. And the more people that we call wake up, they don't have to understand it, but just know that we need to protect where we are right now for our children, our grandchildren, and for us, because we come back. But there are other places, but let's protect what we have right now. Please take care of what we have. It's very important.
Do you think that for whatever reason they're showing me Noah and the Ark, do you think that there's a message from Noah and the Ark to what you have to say right now? Is there a link? And what is that?
Absolutely, and I'd love to do that maybe on the next show, Dawn, because we don't really necessarily have much time right now. But yes, because we were given message thousands and thousands of years ago. I am not that religious, but I do believe that there was a very big flood here. And I know that Aldo is telling me that now. And
Yes.
there are many reasons that what happened. We don't want to necessarily repeat our mistakes. That's what I'm hearing. Let's repeat what we have. Yes, we're still here, and we can be here, I'm going to say, to eternity. But let's mess this up. That's a very, very important message. I know this is not necessarily where the show was going to go, but it's important.
But it's always important for you to share your messages.
And do you think the collective thinking affects the planet too?
100%, Mindy. Because, people say the power of prayer, but what that is collective, getting
Yes.
together. And that energy, because we are energy, and I know that you
Everything is
understand that this
energy.
is a very, very important message. Our energy in everybody that puts their energy into something, every little bit helps because it's stronger. That's the only way that I can say that, it's stronger. And yes, many things are happening, but I always say on my show, let's try to be positive. It's not always easy, but let's see the reason. Nothing is coincidental. So let's see the good instead of the bad, even if it's going the wrong way.
And being positive has tremendous value.
Absolutely, 101%. It does, yes.
Sally, do you think the Earth has the power to send an imbalance in the universe? Or if we mess up this planet, are we just going to be a tiny little flower in a huge garden that just goes away?
Well, in answer to that question, and it's a good question. I try to be very positive, but why would we spoil what we already have? That's what I'm hearing very strongly. We've come so far with Earth. Why would we want to start? We will start over again, on the positive side. It will go back to where we were. But why not keep what we already have? Let's try and protect this planet. Will it all end? No, because there are other planets. But we've come so far. And for myself, I am an old soul. I know that I've come from another planet, as we all are, and I'm very aware of that. But why would we mess up what we have? Let's try and protect it, and we can go even further on our planet today.
Okay. So do you think, obviously this has to go with science and everything as well, but when the Ice Age happened, do you think that was like a hard reset on Earth back in the day then?
Absolutely, because if we go back in time, we can see that. It's happened many times. But I do believe that we've come further than any other time where we are right now. We need to continue with this. We need to protect what we have here. And that just doesn't include us. It includes animals, everything else, the climate. We know how to protect that climate. I'm not too familiar with what we're doing that is wrong, but we need to look up what we're doing. We're burning things that shouldn't be in the atmosphere. That's what they're telling me right now. Let's protect that. We are comparatively a new planet here. That could be thousands of years, but there are other planets. They're watching us because what we do will actually interfere with other planets too. So they're wanting us to do this. It's very, very important. Very important.
You got anything?
I was thinking,
You think it's something that good?
I was thinking, you know the meaning of the planets, like how Saturn could be somebody's planet and things like that.
How Saturn is, I'm sorry.
It's someone's planet, like they have birthstones.
Astrologically, you mean?
Yes.
Maybe I'm going to let you answer that, Mindy. I'm sorry to put you on
Well,
the spot.
different signs are influenced by different planets. And different planets have different energies, so you have a pull, or the sun, or the moon. And that's how they do astrology. But I must say, there's many, many dimensions. Things are dimensional. They're not just what we see surface-wise. And things are much more complex than we understand. So I believe astrology, numerology, auras, colors, and many more, numerology is all real. But I believe it could take 10 lifetimes to get a little bit of a grasp of it. So there is some truth maybe there is pure truth to the fact that the planets are affecting us. Depending on when we're born, that's how astrology says it, right? And even every day, different times. But there's so much more to it than we realize. So I don't discount it, but it's even more than we think.
You know, it's funny how this took a turn to the planets, because nothing is coincidence. And I know that you understand a lot about this too, Mindy. This message is really important for the people that are listening, and it's a dominoes effect. If we say something, spread that. I can't save the world, Mindy can't save the world, but our message is going out there. If they'll tell someone else, and then someone else, as Aldo used to say, my guide, it's a dominoes effect, and it's very important we spread this message, very important. I know we're coming near to the end of the show, and I thank you very much, Mindy, for being
That was
my
great.
guest today.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you. And I think we're at the end of the show, so please tune in next week. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
For now. Thank you.
Coincidence or not, it's time to trust your intuition and knowings. Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery and awakening with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Bernard, and you can find my book, artwork, and contact through artbysallybernard.com. Join us next week. This has been Call Me Zena.